What's up, y'all? You're watching Union Minded. I am your host, Eric, and today we are going to talk about the Trump administration and how they have been relentlessly assaulting union workers and workers in general, and how anyone who works for a living that thought that this administration was going to help working folks, you were mistaken, you were misled, you were lied to, you were conned, you were defrauded of your own vote because you thought you were voting for one thing and you've gotten nothing but billionaire benefits all day long since January 20th. It's all about billionaire, 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 and fuck everybody else. So let's dive on in. This is an article from The Guardian. It's a good organization. You should check them out. They always got good information. Trump vowed to champion U.S. workers. The reality has been a relentless assault. President has begun slashing federal workforce while hobbling labor watchdogs NLRB and EEOC. And by the way, guys, I know you hear them demonize the federal workforce as bureaucracies and a bunch of do-nothings that are just sucking on the government teat. That's not at all the truth. Align yourself with working people. If you're a working person, your interests align with other working people. So when you see anybody going after workers, it's just them coming after you in a different setting. You're next. We have to realize that they're coming for us next. They're just testing the waters to see how far they can push. We have got to come together and push back. As a presidential candidate last fall, Donald Trump repeatedly promised to battle for U.S. workers. But ever since he returned to the White House, he has taken a surprisingly large number of anti-worker actions, labor experts say. Some of those moves, among them hobbling the National Labor Relations Board, will help Trump's billionaire business friends, most notably Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. In his first few weeks back in office, Trump fired the acting chair of the National Labor Relations Board, leaving the U.S.'s top labor watchdog without a quorum to enforce laws that protect workers' rights to unionize. Trump has designated Musk, a vehemently anti-union billionaire, to launch an all-out war against the federal bureaucracy and workforce. And Trump and Musk have essentially treated the country's 2 million plus federal employees as if they were disposable. I'd go a little farther. They're treating them like they're the enemy of the state. Not stopping there, Trump fired 2 members of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, leaving it without a quorum to carry out its mission of fighting against discrimination. In his crusade to downsize the government and demolish the deep state, Trump and his administration have fired thousands of federal employees. Moves that union officials say have violated laws and rules that require due process and a finding of poor performance before workers can be dismissed. Donald Trump is showing that his promises to be a champion of workers are hollow, said Judy Conte, Government Affairs Director of the National Employment Law Project, a worker advocacy group. He surrounds himself with people who are anti-worker. He has a history of being anti-worker, but he tries to put a nice face on it. He says he's a champion of workers. He's just not. Anyone that believes he's a champion of workers just don't know who Trump is and is only going off of vibes, and they're only following what feels good. But they're not following the truth or the facts, or not doing their due diligence to see who it is that they're supporting. They're supporting somebody that wants them destitute and out of the way. Last month, just hours after an American Airlines jet collided with an Army helicopter over D.C., killing 67 people, Trump dissed and angered FAA employees when he denounced diversity, equity, and inclusion policies as fostering incompetence and suggesting that many FAA employees were unqualified. In another move upsetting worker advocates, Trump named Russell Vought, one of the architects of the controversial right-wing blueprint Project 2025, which, by the way, he said he had nothing to do with. I don't know anything about Project 2025. I don't know anything about that. It has a lot of bad ideas, but I'm going to go ahead and put every author and architect of Project 2025 into my cabinet and around me, and then I'm going to tell all of you guys that Project 2025 isn't really happening, and because you love me so much and you love Trump, you're going to believe me. He installed Russell Vought to run the White House Budget Office. Project 2025 is brimming with anti-worker recommendations, among them abolishing all government employee unions across the U.S. Trump has already shown that he's not a friend of working people, Liz Schuler, president of the AFL-CIO, the country's main union federation, said in an interview. Project 2025 is playing out exactly as we feared, and America's workers are right at the heart of those attacks. Hey, Liz, wakey, wakey. I don't need you quoted in the paper. I need you organizing rallies, protests, marches, boycotts. I need you to get on it. One Trump move that particularly upset labor leaders was his order to fire Gwen Wilcox, the NLRB's acting chair and a Democrat, even though her term ran until 2026, and even though the labor board is an independent agency. That left the 5-member board with just 2 positions filled, and thus without a quorum to make decisions. Calling her dismissal unprecedented and a blatant violation of the law, Wilcox is suing Trump and asking to be reinstated. He doesn't have the authority to remove a board member unless they have engaged in a neglect of duty or malfeasance, Wilcox said in an interview. She noted that Trump never gave any reason for firing her and failed to give advance notice or allow for a hearing. Their practical point was to prevent any work from being done, Wilcox said. It's counter to what the agency is supposed to do, which is to protect the rights of working people and enforce the law. In defending that firing, the Trump administration asserted that Trump had the power to dismiss any executive branch employee he wishes. That claim is expected to be litigated all the way to the Supreme Court, a Supreme Court who, by the way, is stocked and slanted to Trump. So we don't have any friends on the Supreme Court. The AFL-CIO's Schuler said the illegal firing of Gwen Wilcox, we're fighting that tooth and nail. It did exactly what Trump wanted to do, which was stymie the one agency that workers rely on when they are in an organization drive and taking risks and getting fired. They no longer have the board they need to protect them, Ben Sachs, a Harvard labor law professor, added. If you believe in unions and in workers' rights to organize and bargain collectively, then dismantling the NLRB is not the way to show one's support for workers. Musk's company, SpaceX, which the NLRB has accused of firing several workers illegally, has brought suit in federal court to have the NLRB declared unconstitutional. Amazon, which was founded by Jeff Bezos, was brought a similar lawsuit after NLRB officials found that Amazon broke laws numerous times in fighting against unionization. We know the corporations that Musk and Bezos run have expressed a clear interest in shutting down the NLRB and have deployed teams of lawyers to accomplish that, Sachs said. Now they've got their way, at least temporarily. If federal courts order Wilcox's reinstatement, the NLRB will again have a quorum, enabling it to operate. Trump also fired 2 EEOC commissioners, Charlotte Burrows and Jocelyn Samuels, leaving it 2 without a quorum. He also fired members of 2 boards that hear cases in which federal employees assert they have been improperly fired or treated, the Merit Systems Protection Board and the Federal Labor Relations Authority. All of these agencies where workers who believe their rights have been violated can go to get remedies, said Conti of the National Employment Law Project. They're essentially freezing the ability of these boards to remedy workers' problems. Mark Gaston Pierce, the executive director of the Workers' Rights Institute at Georgetown University, said it was disturbing that Trump, instead of firing one of NLRB's 2 white members, fired Wilcox, the only African-American woman to serve on the board. In its 90-year history, Pierce asserted that Trump and Musk firing of hundreds of federal workers involved in DEI programs was disproportionately hitting workers of color. It's all code for getting rid of people of color, Pierce said. An African-American official who worked at the Department of Education for more than 15 years and who insisted on anonymity said she was recently put on paid administrative leave merely because she had once participated in a DEI training. She said she had no idea whether she would be reinstated. They're vilifying the civil service, she said. It feels like a betrayal. Linda Ward Smith, president of the American Federation of Government Employees Union Local, representing 4,000 veteran administration workers in Las Vegas, said many federal employees were disgusted with how they have been treated. Workers are telling me it's a hostile environment due to all the emails they're receiving, including Musk's fork in the road email to 2 million employees suggesting they should take buyouts, saying the Trump administration wants loyal employees. Ward Smith said Trump's and Musk's attack on DEI were making many workers of color anxious and thinking of leaving their government jobs. This is untenable. Everything that they got going on is untenable, and we must strike back. We must organize. We must resist these wannabe dictators who are sitting there running rampant. My name's Eric. You're watching Union Minded. Remember, the fight's not left and right. It's up and down. It's going to take solidarity to win always. Each one teach one. Get out there and reach one. And remember, there could be no union without you and I, front and center. So let's go. Peace.